famous NXTGEN podcast. My name is Mike, the current and new Formula 1 World Champion. Obviously I'm joined by the actual champion, and I will say many words less when the time is right. The one and only Jordan. How are we, mate? Congratulations on your title win. Absolutely astonishing performance. Anything you wish to add to that?
I played my Joker, mate. Triple points for me tonight, you know.
Well, what can I say? That Jack Millington, mate, he's just keeping you down. Alright, mate. Didn't see you there.
Hi everyone, good to be here, as always. Yeah, we'll talk about the F1 in a bit and see how we get through it all. I know that we've got a fair bit to get through. Some leagues are done, some have still got, obviously, next week or the rest of the week to go. We are on the penultimate event, but a couple of races that we can confirm, championships we can confirm as well, and a little touch of an announcement about season 20, which will be popping up tomorrow on the NXTGEN Facebook page, but we'll give you a little preview just at the end. But before that, let's talk about the leagues and everything that's been going on. So Jordan, we start on a Wednesday, of course. Take us through it.
Well, we don't start on Wednesday this time, Jack, did we? Because I think we covered it last time, did we not?
Did we?
Because we want to.
Maybe one more time.
We'll have a look anyway. We'll have a look, even though I'm trying to do a few other things at the same time.
Oh yes, of course we did. Yes, because do you know what it is? We did it on a Wednesday, and I'm so used to being Turbo Tuesdays, that's what threw me off. So we will start instead then on the Thursdays. Before we go into the mid-gans, I think we should start with let's go with the Mix Series on PC. I think that would be a nice place to start, because we could talk a little bit about GT Sport just after that.
Yeah, GT3, GT4 mixed lobby, even though it's more like a more like a GT3 league, I think it's turned into. And they went to Barcelona. Really good, nice circuit for these sorts of cars. And it was Daniel Blomqvist who took 2 wins. Took the maximum 42 points, so he now leads the championship after with one round to go, which is only one race events, only 21 points maximum to be had out of that. He's on 195 points. Uncle finished second in race 1 with Paul Scott third. Fourth was Aces. Christian Hamrebo was in 5th. In terms of race 2, obviously Blomqvist won it with Christian Hamrebo in 2nd, Paul Scott 3rd, so good consistency there. That was then followed by Uncle in 4th and Daniel Holmer in 5th. Now the top 3 in the championship can win still. Blomqvist on 100. Uncle 192, Paul Scott 191. So 4 points covering the top 3 heading into Francorchamps, which they're doing a 24-hour time cycle for.
That's really close in the championship, isn't it? Jeez, that's going to be one hell of a monumental title showdown. 4 points, I mean, they could all compromise each other if they finish on the podium. It doesn't matter what order they finish in.
Yeah, and round Spa, mistakes can creep in round Spa just because it is a fast circuit and you've got to rely a lot on the aerodynamics of the car through like Pouhon, Blanchimont. If the car's not quite turning in right, you can have some right issues around there.
No, we've got loads of potential problems around Spa, obviously, in those cars as well. It could go anyway, so I'm really looking forward to that, Joel. That's going to be awesome to find out who wins that championship come not next week, this week, tomorrow, Thursday rather. I keep thinking we're on Wednesday. It's so strange. You know, you do 1 week off in terms of a day, and it just messes me up completely.
So yeah, on Thursday, 2 days' time, they will battle that one out. And it should be a hell of a finish to what it looks like one of the closest, one of the closest leagues this season.
Absolutely, it's going to be wonderful to see that, and can't wait for the reports to come through during that Thursday evening to see how the drivers got on in terms of the championship as well. So that's going to be awesome to go through. So let's swing it over to the McGanns on GT Sport. I'll talk about Lobby 2 first, George, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'll go on to Lobby 2. So, Lobby 2, we ended up heading off to Suzuka East for a top 4 reverse grid race. And Dominator 3 took pole position the first time this season, and only his second event in the McGanns. What a wonderful performance it was from him. However, the race didn't quite go to plan. He dropped to second at the start, thanks to Bertus with a wonderful launch off the line for Bertus. And then Dominator 3 unfortunately fell off the circuit and caused what can be described as a very accurate logjam. Two cars got caught up behind him in the form of Big Z, whose bad luck this season continued, and he also took 1805 as well, which is really unfortunate. So those two went off. Shadowstalker just about got away with it and was running second for a good number of laps, actually. He's really putting in a good effort. But thanks to the problems with the cars behind, Zabertis just drove off into the distance. He was happily in the lead. He was 9 seconds clear at one stage, and then he took his second race win of the season. But the most important point to note of that night, Martin JL09, he started from the back, he finished second in the end, and he secured his first championship with NXTGEN. He is the champion with 1 round to spare, which is wonderful for him. Really good performance from him all season long. He got that second place, he took the championship, and he's going to be in Lobby 1 next season, which is going to be really fascinating to see his progress. Obviously, you'll find out a little bit more information about how they get on in Season 20, because I can say this, Jord, if you don't mind me saying it. Or do you want to say it about next season with the McGanns?
I'll say it after we've gone through both lobbies, I think.
Okay, well,
nice surprise.
Nevertheless, yeah, nice surprise. Snav did finish in third in that race. Really good performance from him. He managed to get past Shadowstalker and kept him at bay in the end. Shadowstalker finished fourth. Really good performance. He's really stepped it up this season. He's been my, personal driver of the season, the Shadowstalker. I've been really impressed with his performances recently, and he's getting a lot quicker now. Danzo was fifth. Dominator in the end, 6th place, 1805 7th, Duds 8th, and 9th and 10th places went away with Big Z and Mr. Just. So, good race, really good fun to watch. 25 laps for the front 2 in the end. They managed to actually get an extra lap in as opposed to the rest of the field.
Yeah, in terms of the points of that one, Jack, as well, obviously, as you say, Martin JL09 definitely has that one in the bag now. But obviously, drop scores come into effect as of this Thursday. The current top, we'll go for current top 7. So before drop scores, Martin JL09 has 175, Snav 136, Danzo 113, Bertus 112, D10 on 109, Seamus 109, 101 for Seamus, and Duds on 99. If you were to take into account the drop scores as they stand at the moment, Martin JL09 would be on 163, Snav on 125, Bertus on 112, D10 Piper 109, Danzo 107, Seamus 93, although actually that should be back to his Seamus 101 because he missed Suzuki East. Duds on 92, so there's still a small chance of Bertus getting up to Snav. Unlikely one, but definitely a chance there if he has a good result to nick second.
Yeah, definitely good opportunity for him. We'll see how the drivers get on. Of course, it's going to be fascinating to see how they go in the final round. I'll be keeping a keen interest on that battle. And when we go to, it's Lego Maggiore, isn't it? I believe,
Lego Maggiore GP.
Yeah, so that'll be good to see. How did Lobby 1 go from your perspective and from the championships for that matter?
My perspective, you don't want to know.
Not went that well then.
Yeah, well, it wasn't going too bad. I just nipped the grass at the penultimate corner, which sent me to the back. But me and PK had a really nice 2-lap battle at the end. But no, a really, really good race between Lobby 1 guys. A different winner this time as well, in terms of Bruce Lee Harding had managed to win the race. He qualified second. He wasn't part of that top 4 reverse grid. Got into the lead and just fended for his life for about 20 minutes. From Jainho, who got second in the end. And Timmy rounded off the podium. So Herocram didn't even make the podium round here. He was 4th, so it was a good way through the pack, with Hill Climb Racer in 5th with the fastest lap, running at 6th with the pole position, followed that by Matty Rudd, but because he's a filler, Adam ID gets bumped up one, then myself, and then P. Gibb. Obviously Herocram has taken the title for this championship. A fantastic effort by him, defending his title, the first person to defend the McGann title, which is always an impressive stat, really, Jack, when you're the first person to defend a specific title, and under extremely more pressurised circumstances as well for Herocram, because he hasn't had it all his own way this season, which has been really, really good to see from the Lobby 1.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be an improvement from Lobby 1, and you know, I didn't really cover this before when I was talking about Martin, but I think Martin will be a really good addition to that league. Obviously, I know Martin's sorting out a new wheel and everything at the moment, which will be giving him a certain performance increase, and I think he's going to be really competitive. And before I come back to Herocram, I just want to mention, you know, Martin's been fantastic this season. He thoroughly deserves his championship. I think he's only been off the podium twice, and only one race realistically where he had any bad errors, which is Brands Hatch. But other than that, he's been absolutely faultless, which is really, really good to see. A good omen for the step up into League, well, Lobby 1, League 1 almost, if you want to call it that. But Herocram was fantastic, wasn't he, Jordan? I think, you know, this is a guy who consistently has been described as an alien within NXTGEN, within GT Sport, and I genuinely do believe that he's still going to take some beating next season. He's still the favourite, but he has had to work for it. And I think, you know, when you were saying it, Jordan, about Lobby 1 then, I was very surprised to hear that Herocram didn't finish on the podium. That's something that I wouldn't have anticipated. So a nice step up from the drivers, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be good, you know, championship challenge from the other drivers next season, but they've got a race left.
Yeah, and in terms of the points, he's got a massive battle on for second place in the championship. Pre-drop scores, let's go through the top 5 or so. Herocram 159 points, Hill Climb Racer 128, Timmy 125, Ruddo 120, Jainho 111, Bruce Lee Harding on 98. Now, naturally you'd assume there Ruddo probably doesn't have the best chance of getting second place from that point of view, only 8 points separating second to 4th. However, when drop scores come into play, because Ruddo missed the last round, he obviously now has a drop score of 0, which means anything he scores in Lago Maggiore counts to his score. So with drop scores, Herocram has 159 still because he missed Tsukuba. Hill Climb has 122, Ruddo 120, Timmy 116, Jainho 103, so that gets rapidly shrunk. Bruce stays on 98. So it gets really interesting once you start taking the drop scores into account.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out on that, George. I think it's going to be, you know, both Lobby 1 and Lobby 2 in the McGanns are going to be fascinating for the final round on Thursday, of course, at Lago Maggiore. But before I go on to the Sciroccos, Jordan, take it away.
So it is going to be confirmed that the Paramax McGann Trophy will be returning next season. Whether it's accompanied by another league or not is yet to be decided, but the McGanns will be back for their 4th season. and dependent on what happens, there's a few ideas I'm thinking of in the back of my mind, but I need to again confirm with some other people plans and best way of going around it. But we will have more McGann action for season 20.
Indeed, so everyone can look forward to that soon. So we'll move over to the Scirocco's. Obviously looking at Lobby 1 this time instead of Lobby 2. We'll come back to Lobby 2 shortly. Again, that was a top 4 reverse grid race in the championship, and I believe it was P. Gibb for pole, wasn't it?
Gibbo for pole, yep.
Gibbo for pole, he did. He took pole position. Ruddo 24 was second on that front row, so really good performance from those two. Obviously, Ruddo's been in and out of the championship this season, but nice to have them back for Suzuka East. The race was really good to watch in Lobby 1. A lot of action going on between the 8 drivers. Obviously, in the end, we couldn't have a merged lobby, but it's looking a bit more likely for next week, rather next Thursday for the finale. But Hirakram, he just has a handle on the Scirocco's, doesn't he? Mr. Tesco himself, he just drives that car with aplomb.
He does, and to a degree it's been helpful for him because obviously in the Scirocco's there's a slightly lesser number, so it's slightly easier in that respect to get through the pack. I think had it been a merged lobby, I'm just going to put it had it been a merged lobby, I'd have done a full reverse grid for both lobbies. And I think it would have been a lot harder then for Hirakram to get through the pack, obviously with like 14-15 cars on track. But no, he's driven fantastically well. He's obviously taken the title. There's no doubt about that. I mean, after drop scores, he's got 60 points over Bruce Lee Harding. So, yeah, he's pretty much every time he's raced, he's been on the podium. He's taken part so far in 8 rounds. He's taken part in 7 of those he's won. 3 of those he's taken the 2 bonus points to go with it. 2 of those he's taken the fastest lap, and the other one he came second with fastest lap. So, and he's had 1 win he's had two wins with no bonus points. So it's an incredible thing to win 7 of your 8 outings so far in the season. You know, you're just not going to compete.
It's a ridiculous percentage, isn't it, that he'd have? I think it'd be about 83% of the races he's entered he's won. So, I mean, that in itself is a huge challenge for the drivers to try and face. He's still got 1 more to try and make it, 8 from 9 come Thursday. So we'll see how he gets on. In the meantime, Ruddo did finish second. It was a good result. It was a good race from Ruddo. He kept Hirakram honest once he got past the scrapping drivers. Gibb got 3rd thanks to Bruce Lee's penalty. So he had a bit of a suffering in that race compared to normal. He was 5th in the end. Didn't quite hook things up the way that he wanted to, and you, Jordan, were very lucky at the end with your penalty.
Very lucky, but I think I'm very unlucky at the start because obviously first lap, me and Timmy, I don't know whether you caught it, Jack, me and Timmy went side by side for at least half, 3/4 of the lap. Unfortunately, I think Timmy just clipped the curb, which bumped me off wide.
Yeah, that's very true.
Fair play to him. He did wait, so it was a absolutely fair play to him for waiting and letting me continue. But obviously, I think had we not done that, both of us possibly would have been in a slightly better position because obviously, once Suzuki East, once you have a little bit of a slowdown, it's very hard to regain that time. But yeah, it's been a good championship, the Scirocco's, albeit a slightly lesser number than I was hoping for, but regardless, it's been some fantastic racing between the cars that have been on track for Lobby 1.
Yeah, it has been indeed, and just echoing your comments, Jordan, on that, that I think the league is actually pretty decent. It's just been unfortunate that we haven't quite had the numbers for the latter part of the season, really. But nevertheless, it's still 1 round to go. We'll finish off the Scirocco's for the season, but we'll talk about Lobby 2. That was a very interesting spectacle, it has to be said. races were really good around Suzuka East, which is clearly a really good, circuit for me to commentate on amongst all the action. Gino Demmer took his first pole position in Lobby 2 thanks to the top 4 reverse grid, but then all chaos and carnage kicked off. 18:05 led the race at an earlier stage. Gino Demmer was fighting for podium positions. There was a whole host of action going on, but in the end, NXTGEN Bigsy emerged from all of it in the lead and drove off into the distance. And he took his first win of the season. And do you know something? On a personal level, I'm really chuffed for him because he's had such bad luck in season 19 across both leagues, not just the McGanns where he's been desperately unlucky, but Scirocco's as well. He's been really unfortunate. But Thursday, he was absolutely class of the field. He really put in a good shift. So he won the race, and it's a popular win for him. And I thought he might have been hinting at something as I had to commentate on the post race replay, but I didn't know he'd won, and I was really chuffed for him. Rally Matt was second, of course, and I'm fairly certain, Jordan, that Rally Matt has secured that title. I believe I confirmed it during a stream.
Yeah, he's got he's got a 57-point gap after drop scores so far. So
yeah, Rally Matt's been absolutely superb in Lobby 2. You'd argue he shouldn't have been in the lobby, but you have to win in front of with what's in front of you, which he did. And fair play to the guy, absolutely faultless all season. He's been the class of the field. He came second in that race. He was stuck behind Snav, who picked up a penalty just at the end, so Snav got dropped to third. 18:05 got fourth, nice result for him. Gino Demmer in the end, he finished fifth. Danzo was sixth. Dominator 3 seventh. Suburtus didn't have the best of times in that race, he was eighth, and then Jazzy Just, of course, was ninth, and that rounds off your Scirocco's from race fourth.
An interesting thing about Matt is that obviously it was an awkward one because me and you, Jack, we both know he's quite quick, but when we done our warm-up races in the weeks leading up, he had some pace, but he made like all these little mistakes constantly, which is kind of why.
And we didn't know he was going to take in as many races as he did, because at the time he said he was not going to be able to do them all. So the logical explanation was Lobby 2.
Yeah, so he was put in Lobby 2 because he made all these constant little mistakes, and obviously as a driver, if you get put in Lobby 1 and you make 2-3 mistakes, we're well off the pack. And I'm sure we've all been there where we're way off the pack in a race on our own at the back, and it sometimes it's just not fun, put it that way. So he got put in Lobby 2 and he's picked up the game fantastically well, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the first few races he'd done, he wasn't actually that far ahead of the field, and as the season's gone on he's just got quicker and quicker. And as you love stats, Jack, he's competed in 8 rounds this season, same as Heracram. He missed Alsace. He has won 7 of those 8 rounds, comes second in the other one on 2 occasions, which is both top 4 reverse grids. He's taken the fastest lap. And that was the only 2 races he was involved in the top 4 reverse grid. The other 6 times he's raced, he's taken a maximum of 23 points every round.
Phenomenal, isn't it? Absolutely dominant season for him, and well done to Rally Math. Absolutely wonderful to see him with that performance. We'll move over to Fridays then. Jordan, which one would you like to take first?
Let's go for the Porsche. So I know you may have to skip at some point, so we'll do the Porsches first because I know you've got the information for that one.
I do indeed. So Porsche Cup, obviously on iRacing, of course, they went to Silverstone for the penultimate round of season 19. A lot of good battles going on, and in terms of the race, 2 races that they do, of course they do a 15-minute sprint for race 1 and 45-minute feature race for race 2. Pole position went away with David Ward. Once again, good to see him on pole. He took first position as well, so fantastic effort for him, pole and the win. Dave Newsham was again in second, another good result for Dave, classic driver of course. Matt Allen finished in 3rd place, obviously trying to keep his championship hopes alive. In terms of race 2, Matt fought back. Matt Allen, he got first place. David Ward was second. So very close between those two. And Michael Seal was third, which is really good performance for Michael, because he, I believe, just looking at the championship standings, just having a quick check to see where he pops up on the championship. I'm trying to see where he is. He's in 6th place, which puts him tied for, actually puts him tied for 5th now in the championship, alongside our old friend Jeff Perkis. So interesting to see for that one. In terms of the championship standings, it's David Ward who leads on 265 from Matt Allen on 244. Dave Newsham, the only other driver in the 200s, is on 206. Lee Horns in 4th on 157. And like I said before, Jeff and Michael Seal on 130 each. Will Orton didn't make it for Friday's races on 126 in 7th. Jamie Dory 8th, 122. Freddie 9th, Freddie Hewitt that is, on 108, and Colin Martin rounds out that top 10. But the final round and the title decider is at the Nürburgring Nordschleife combined, where there will be a 1 hour solo feature race. And the championship's on the line, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic to watch. Obviously, Jacko Racing streams that on Facebook, so do have a look at his stream. It'll be up on Friday that you can have a watch of. That's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, that, I mean, Nürburgring, one mistake, especially on iRacing, because I'm always there's also damage on that. One mistake, you're in the barriers, and it could be a long way back to the pits if you've got a knackered car.
Yeah, oh crikey, yeah, if you go off on turn 2, that's that from anything else.
We don't mean turn 2 on the GP loop, we mean turn 2 on the Nordschleife.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it should be a great race to end with. I think that's going to be a qualify as high as you can and then survive.
Yeah, pretty much. Going to be wonderful to see that. And like I say, again, tune in on Jacko Racing on Facebook. You'll get a good chance to watch the stream live on there. So, moving on to the next league for Fridays. Jordan, take it away, my friend.
So we'll go to ACC for our next league. PlayStation 4, the GT4 World Series. They headed to Paul Ricard Friday gone, and the championship has really heated up, shall we say, as we head into the final round coming up. Next Gen Bean Flicker, our good mate web user Johnny, won the race at Paul Ricard, very vital at the moment. Followed by Silver Carter, his main championship rival. Gnarly Pop, who we've both raced against Jack again. He came in 3rd place, 4th for Hukan Lukan, and Stu Packham 5th. Unfortunately, five cars this round. It's a bit of a shame, but I believe rumour floating around GT4 League will be returning next season, hopefully with a few more competitors.
It will be.
In terms of the points, Next Gen Bean Flicker has 153 to Silver Carter's 147, so 6 points between the two leaders. Had Silver Carter won that with Bean Flicker second, they'd have been tied going into the final round, which would have been a lot more interesting in my opinion, but a literal fight out, whoever beats the other wins. That's always a nice finishing race. Nutty Pop has 101 points, Slayer at 92, and Stu Packham 79, and obviously everyone just gets further and further away. But the final round, Jack, heads to Silverstone for that championship decider. And I've got a feeling he may have been called away on his personal duty, so Mike, Silverstone for the decider for the GT4 series. If anyone's there. Nope, I'm on mute. So that should be a very interesting round. Obviously, championship on the line for Bean Flicker. He's got a 6-point advantage, but he's got to be careful to make sure he keeps that lead. Next up on the Friday, we head to the Virtual Focus Cup, sponsored by the actual Focus Cup, which is fantastic to have. Obviously, we've already had the champion now for a good few rounds. They headed to Dragon Trail Gardens, whereby NXTGEN Herocram took the victory. For that, he also took fastest lap, which is always pretty much Herocram's trademark. Is he pretty much makes sure that he always gets fastest lap as much as he possibly can with a win. He did, however, did not get pole position. He did, but he unfortunately disconnected, so it put him at the back of the pack, which meant Philo got the pole position point. In terms of the championship, though, Herocram obviously now has 202 points, which is 82 more than P. Gibb, who's in second. Philo has 104, so he's 16 behind P. Gibb. Logan Greenway has 98 with Snav on 93, so that's a close battle going into the final round. D. Whitehouse has 69 weight, Bifter 57, 1805 has 50, Human, everyone else behind just gets lower and lower. They head to Brands Hatch GP for the final round. It should be an absolute cracker of a race. Always produces good action, does Brands Hatch GP. So going up through Westfield, Dingledale, Sheen Cove, that little loop there. Every chance for someone to make a small mistake. And Herocram, he may well end up making that mistake to allow a different winner for the finale. Mike, are you there at all?
I'm sorry, mate. I was just sorting something else out. Sorry.
That's right. No worries. So that's our Friday leagues and a good few tracks for the finales for those. Anyway, moving on. So that's all the Fridays. Obviously, the Virtual Focus Cup streamed and commented on by myself on JPH_99 on Twitch. So make sure you join us for that one as well. For the finale, hopefully, P. Gibb, hashtag Gibbo for pole and win around Brands Hatch, as long as he keeps on the black stuff, on the tar. It's going to be very, very close. No leagues on Saturdays, so we head over to Sundays. Mikey, did you say there was nothing to report for BMWs?
From what I know, mate, they basically had some issues with the GT Sports service, so it's something we're going to be looking into. Obviously, I'm not sure what the process will be at the moment on the rerun of that race, or we just, I don't know what's going on. But obviously, once I know, everyone else will pretty much know at the same time, I imagine. So once I'm able to provide the more thorough update, I will do my best. But from what I heard, Lobby 1 was quite an interesting race around Suzuka. So, but yeah, as soon as I know, I will update the guys in Lobby 2, or I'd imagine it might be Mark, on what the game plan is.
There we go. In terms of other championships, on a Sunday we only have one more, which is the RFAC 2 European Touring Car Series. They went to Hockenheimring National at a slightly lower field because the two championship contenders were unable to race that round in terms of Shannonay and Andreasen, so there's a 5-point gap in favour of Shannonay going into Donington Park.
Interesting circuit.
Yeah, and they're using the GP, not the national layout, for good measure.
Oh, the GP?
I like the GP.
It's just nice.
It's a weird one, GP, because it's nice, but it really does disturb your flow when you go down to the Melbourne hairpin, suddenly anchoring on the brakes.
Yeah.
But and it hasn't really been used for touring cars for a long time now. So it'll be interesting to see how those cars go.
Yeah, because they usually use just the. I'm trying to think.
They don't not use the National, which is through the Fogarty S's right left.
Oh yeah, they don't usually use the one that's left right, do they?
No, they used to, but not anymore.
No, it'll be quite interesting to see how that turns out, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, I mean, 5-point gap between Chalanet and Andreasen in Chalanet's favour. 2 races, so there's 42 points up for grabs. Any of them can win there. In terms of Hockenheim, though, Kevin Smith managed to get a double victory. I got a feeling that's probably his first victory of the season in the R-Fact 2 European Touring Car League. He's managed to pick up 2 of those. In race 1, Ollie Page took 2nd place with Kieran Williams 3rd. In race 2, it was Matthew Williams 2nd with Kieran Williams 3rd. Still a few midfield battles to settle there, because Kevin Smith has a 2-point lead over Matthew Williams, 163 plays 161, and Kieran Williams has just a 4-point gap to Ollie Page, 143 plays 139. So we've got a nice 3 pairs of battles going on between the top 6 drivers there, which is fantastic to see.
Well, it is actually, like, obviously it's always fun to see, obviously, a league where obviously someone doesn't exactly run away, but it's nice to see people who are, it's a close competition. It's nice to see that sort of, you haven't got 1 or 2 rounds, like 3 or 4 rounds left, and obviously, oh, here's our champion. It's always nice to see that, like, last race sort of, anyone can take it, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So, it's always really good to see stuff like that.
Absolutely. That's it up to Sunday. So that was effectively race week 9, and we're going to head now into race week 10, the finale week, as it's pretty much known. And let's start off with the Gness GT4, just try and give Jack a little bit of time to get back from his personal thing that he needs to do. So, Ginetta GT4 League on Assetto Corsa Competizione. You can just get to the points tables. There we go. Now, the champion for this league was crowned at round number 9, as was 2nd place. But they went to Misano for round 10. Now, a really weird circuit to drive cars on, I'm not going to lie.
I don't believe I've been round there myself, mate.
No, I've only ever well, up until this season, I've only ever done Misano on MotoGP.
Where is it? I've never heard of it. You say it?
It's in Italy.
Well, that's probably why.
Yeah, very very big in the motorbike world with MotoGP, stuff like that. But obviously the GT3. The GT series go around Mazzano as well, and I drove around there in a Bentley GT3 earlier this season. Weird circuit to get used to in a car, really weird, but nice once you get the flow of it. Once you get the flow,
yeah,
really nice.
A car that weighs the same like weight comparison as Buckingham Palace. Don't mind me, I'm just going to move the butler along while we turn to the left. Hold on.
Weirdly enough, it's not actually doesn't feel as heavy as you think, really.
Is it like the project car, like the first project cars one, where it was literally for a car of the size, it was pretty competitive. I actually used to enjoy driving the GT3. Obviously, me and Jack would always come up if we ever went in the GT3s. We'd always come up, oh, it's the Bentley boys, you know, and I know I'm not sure if he still races with us from time to time. There was a American gentleman, Scott. From time to time we'd I think I've still got him on Facebook, but yeah, he's a big Bentley fan. Another one, our founder, from what I remember, is a big Bentley boy, from what I remember. So it's always nice to see the local boys being represented, I suppose.
Yeah, but in terms of the race, Manster actually took the victory from RV Motorsport. RV Motorsport obviously already crowned the champion. Manster second in the championship. NXTGEN beating Flicker. I'll come on to him in a minute, but third in the race. Third in the race was GT Delhi B. Fourth was Bean Flicker, which means he is crowned for third place in the championship. He holds on to that from Gnarly Pop. NXTGEN Ultra, Kevin Smith finished fifth with Gnarly Pop sixth. Seventh was apparently no one according to this because there's no number 10. But I'm going to say MRC Dan Gleeble. Then it was Schwede Roger, followed by Westy, and that was your lot. But yeah, so your top three for the Genettas: RV Motorsport, Mamster, NXTGEN Beam Flicker. That is the end of their season, and it's been quite a good one for them. They've had 15 people throughout the season race, and it looks like they had a really nice pickup of drivers in the last round, which is always good to see and promising for any potential leagues next season. I haven't got any confirmation on a Genetta league for next season, but obviously information will come out as and when it does. But yeah, ACC bike actually really, really good.
I've contemplated buying it, but at the same time, it's because I haven't got my wheel or anything like that.
You can drive it on a controller. It's not easy, but you can drive it on a controller.
Well, that's the thing. I know this is going to sound silly, but obviously in racing, in my personal opinion, racing games, wheels have an unfair advantage. Do you know what I mean? Because you get, I know this sounds silly, but being someone that's used it in the past, and obviously wants to get back to using it due to certain circumstances, I can't. You know, it is really, I don't think that's a word. Yeah, I'd say it is quite hard. So like obviously certain games, like certain tracks, like you can tell who is using what.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know there's a few lads who, no, let's be honest, I'm not exactly the best on a pad or anything like that. But obviously I know for a fact there's a few of the lads in the group or a few of the people listening who are obviously, in the same sort of shoes as me, they've got a pad, but they are relatively quite quick. I just prefer to use a wheel, you see. I'm just that. Like I've always found out I did better, was more comfortable with a wheel than say, obviously, a pad. So, but as you know, obviously, like games such as like obviously F1 or Project Cars, like I wasn't very competitive with a pad. The minute I got a wheel, I was pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Don't want to blow smoke up me own hoop or anything, but it was sort of that sort of thing, to be honest. So
yeah.
But like obviously the likes of dirt and everything, that's another one that's literally if you've got a wheel and you've got those sort of facilities, you're gonna be all right. You can be competitive. So
yeah.
I think Jack might agree on that. But Jack being Jack, we all know he's going to disagree with me. So it's quite scary when he agrees with me. So.
Brilliant. But yeah, so that's the end of the Genetta GT4 League, which has proven to be quite a good league in that respect. We'll go over to PC before we go back to console again, just to see if we can get Jack in time, because I know he'll probably want to talk about the other Monday night league we have on offer. But we go to PC with Race Room and the WTCR series hosted by Lee Horn, and they went to Watkins Glen Short, obviously in place of Ningbo International, which they had to postpone / replace on the calendar for round number 9. And it was, again, it looks like a good turnout from the guys there over on Race Room, and it was who took it? Alex Ward, who took the race 1 victory, followed by Jeff Purkis and Jamie Dory. Jamie Dory picking up a bonus point, and Matthew Addy also picking up a bonus point there. Matthew Addy coming, I believe that's second place for him. So good stuff there in race 2. It was normal service resumed for race 2, and the fact that Ben Walker took the victory and the bonus points. Lee Horn second, and William Foyle in third for that one. Fourth was Justin Wellbelove. Race 3, and it was Alex Ward once again who took the victory, so a double victory for Alex Ward. He also took both bonus points for that one, so he scored 36 points there. Second was Lee Horn, which is a massive thing for him in the championship at the moment. And third was Justin Wellbelove. Fourth was Jeff Purkis. In terms of the championship, now they do have a drop score system, which we'll go through in a minute. But before drop scores currently, Ben Walker would be on 617 points, 3 ahead of Lee Horn, who's on 614. Gurunyan on 578. Those are probably the 3 that can win the title. But with the drop score adjusted, because the way this league works is that your drop scores come from the first 9 rounds. Your round 10 must count. Whatever you score in round 10 counts in your championship, regardless whether it's a 0 score or a win or whatever.
Sorry, I'm just slightly confused what you mean by that. Like, obviously, so you do basically so many rounds and then sit one.
Yeah, so basically, your drop score can only be taken into account from the first 9 rounds. So within those first 9 rounds, so 27 races in this case, I believe your worst 3 races from those, I think it's 3 races that you're doing. Your worst 3 races from those 27 get taken off of your score. Effectively, they don't count. They just don't get counted. However, whatever you score in round 10 counts. Your round 10, your final round, you cannot have any drop scores from those final 3 races. Whatever you score, you score.
Okay. So it's sort of like a one-shot sort of quality, but like obviously throughout the rounds, they only take those in one point. Okay.
But with the drop score taken into account, Ben Walker has 579 points. He has a drop score of 38 points. Lee Horn has a drop score of 52 points, a massive difference there. He's on 562, with Gurunyan taking a drop score of 34 points, being on 544. And in terms of that, so Lee Horn has 17 points to make on Ben Walker, which isn't impossible with the scoring system that they have in the WTCR. It's absolutely feasible. Gurunyan is 35 off of Ben Walker, and there is one other person who is mathematically could win it, very much outside chance, which is William Foyle, who after drop scores has 490 points. He took a drop score of 42. He's 89 points away from the leader, which is, as we say, a very much outside chance of him doing that, but mathematically still in with a shout.
Yeah, obviously mathematics and all that. In day, it's next gen. We've seen many bizarre results, you could say. I've seen championships where you think, oh, like, that's going to happen, and it's happened. And there was times I've even sat there and, wow, is that literally just happened?
Yeah.
So it is, you know, like I said, it's anyone's game to play. effectively. So
Exactly. I don't know whether that was Jack just going back or not, but yeah, they had to Spa-Francorchamps for their finale, which will be held next week. Obviously, they're a week behind due to their issues at Ningbo. And Alex Everett streams out on Facebook, Twitch as well. So do make sure you join him for that finale, which I'm sure is going to be an absolute cracker of a final set of 3 races.
yeah, that'll be quite fun. Obviously, good luck to the chaps taking part in that one. So looking forward to seeing what comes of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The final league for Mondays, I've been holding on just in case Monsieur Jacques Millington can rejoin us. Obviously, he's not quite got back yet.
Colleague decides to come back to us.
We have the Cup, which we had effectively a double header round, 3 races in one hit. We
You'd call it a triple header then?
Well, it's a triple header, but it's actually a double header because it's still only 2 rounds.
Jord, whatever you said, don't worry, it's in confidence, mate. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it.
I've been hanging on for you, Jack, because I know you probably want to talk about this one. So I'll let you take it away, since I've done a lot of talking and most people have probably gone to sleep with my voice.
Yeah, and we're still not done yet either, by the way. I just thought I'd jump back in as quick as I can towards the end. Yeah, no, Mini League went really well on Monday. Obviously, we had a confirmed champion, and what a champion. We had, of course, NXTGEN Les, who, I'm skipping over the race results for the time being, and we can come back to them in a moment. I'll let Jord talk a little moment now. But NXTGEN Les has been quite simply fantastic this season. He made that transition from Project Cars 2 into GT Sport as if it wasn't a thing, as if he just carried on from where he'd left off, and except he did it with even more dominance this time around. And he's been really, really impressive. And fair play to Fullfish, who took it all the way to the final race for that obviously 30-minute endurance race that we did with the 4 times tyre wear, which could have increased in hindsight. But it was a wonderful season for Les. I think he's been absolutely superb, and I cannot recall a mistake he's made in the second half of this season. He's just been Mr. Consistent, Mr. Fantastic at the front all the way through, and I think, and this is a rumour, with a potential league coming on Monday to GT Sport, what I will say is that you'd argue that there's another opportunity for him to take another Monday title. However, I do know that Les is potentially considering a set of Corsa next season, so could go to a few different leagues, could Mr. Les.
Could throw anything up in the air, mate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could the case of NXTGEN strike? Could he hold on to said title? Or will he be victorious?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely fair play to Fullfish for hanging on to the last round. It was it could have easily gone in that round 9. It was very easy for him to have lost it there. But in terms of the actual races, obviously Les won race 1 at Red Bull Ring very dominantly, I must add as well. Fullfish second, with Rally Matt's third. 4th was Bruce Lee Harding, 5th Philo, who actually took pole position for that race as well. Then it was Dramatic Dave, Dominator 3, who I was quite impressed with actually, for his second time in the car, second or third time in the car. Chubby Dunlop, then Jazzy Just. Race 2 of round 9, it was Fullfish who, and this was critical. This was absolutely critical that he won race 2. Followed to keep it alive. Rally Matt finished second, so he was on for a nice set of results during the evening. Followed by Bruce Lee Harding in third, NXTGEN Les 4th, but crucially with that fastest lap point, which helped him. And then it was Dramatic Dave, followed by Philo, Joey Dunlop, Dominator 3, and then Jazzy Just, and then the final.
Shouldn't we have called race 2 of round 9 at the Red Bull Ring, aka the battle between Les, Philo, and who can lose much door-to-door paint?
Yeah,
The
it was a
Battle of the Three Kings.
That was superb. It was absolutely every single corner. They were just absolutely hammering tongue. No one wanted to give any space up, and it was just a case of you get nudged, I'll nudge you back. It was fantastic, and
Robin is racing, Jack.
yeah, this is a bit more than Robin.
yeah,
I
it
think
was
they both
definitely a
admit that.
personal battle between those two, isn't it, on the night?
Let's be honest, I think that makes it quite interesting.
Well, from a commentary point of view, yeah.
Oh yeah, for us it was fantastic. For those
Obviously, as a spectator as well.
But obviously, the final round, Les done exactly what not exactly what we expected him to, because it wasn't an easy race for him, but he did get the win with the fastest lap. Once again, neither of the championship contenders got pole position. That was running Matt, which I thought was very impressive. It's a shame really that Matt decided that he had too much lag on his end, which is a bit of a shame for him really, because he was in the battle for third place in the championship. But Les took the race win, took fastest lap, so he took him 44 points because it was doubled. Fullfish took 30 in the end. He finished third. Obviously, Philo cracking effort by him, almost getting that win near the end of the race.
He drove really well in that race. That was a wonderful effort for Philo. I think that was very underrated.
So he took second, Fullfish third, Bruce in fourth, which is enough to seal him third place in the championship behind Fullfish. He's had it's really weird for Bruce. He's had a really quiet season, but he's just constantly been there.
Yeah, he has had a couple of podiums throughout the season. He's been really involved in that. I think he's just, like you say, he's just been unfortunate to not take any form of win, really. He's just been thereabouts. A couple of times he just sat in third watching Les and Fullfish battling. One of the circuits just springs to mind. I think it was Sardinia, when Fullfish and Les were just absolutely hammering tongue at for first place, and he just sat there behind them all the way through. So interesting to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Jack, I don't know if you got any news on what's happening with minis next, whether they're returning for next season or not.
No, you know, the minis aren't going to carry on, unfortunately, into season 20. The reason being, reasons being is that we're looking to go for potentially a different league going into season 20. There are plans afoot for a league to come in season 20, containing a particularly fun rear-wheel drive car, bringing back a very old league that I once took part in many moons ago. However, it's still up for consideration, so just keep an eye out on NXTGEN. That's what I'm going to say. Can't give too much away just yet.
Okay, that's it for Mondays. So, gents, we come to today.
Can I just stop you? While I'm here, before I forget, I'm still waiting for the congratulations, Mil. Don't worry. Still waiting for that congratulations, mate.
Yeah, me too.
No. I'm waiting for the congratulations from last week. Just, yeah. Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Last week, I'd offer you congratulations and all
Oh.
that.
No.
No.
Thank you.
I would offer my congratulations, but I haven't received congratulations, so how about no?
No gives his backsies. So
What?
no, we went to Australia for Austria for round 10 tonight. That's where we're going potentially next season. Oh, shut up. Anyway, we went to round 10 for the finale around Austria, the Red Bull Ring. Yeah, it was quite a weird sort of practice session, to be honest with you. I didn't quite set things up the way that I wanted to. It took quite a few minutes to get out, which I was able to do. And then I broke my front wing, didn't get much dry running because the rain came, so it was just a case of just making sure that the setup was stable for the race, with the championship on the line. I wasn't particularly targeting a race win, that much is certain. It would have been nice, but it wasn't something I was targeting anyway with that championship. And I said that during the stream as well. And then, yeah, qualifying just hooked perfectly. Everything went right. It wasn't 100%. There was a few more risks I could have taken. I didn't get the penultimate corner the way I would have liked, and turn one was a touch slow now that I look back on it. But I got pole, which was really confidence booster. I managed to stick it on the front row. I was very much at the last second deciding whether to go softs or mediums, but then I thought, no, I want track position, which I briefly had at the start of the race. I didn't get the worst of launches. Me and Reedy were quite even off the start, but then it was like the second row just absolutely caught up to the back of us before we got to turn one. I braked, I was on the outside, there was not much I could have done. And then Reedy came barreling through and just held everyone up. I got a touch from behind and nearly spun around. And before I'd even got to turn two, I went from pole to last. I was 10th. You watch it on the screen back to 10th because of everything that went on. Got back through. I was watching Matty a little bit more than anything. I was just sort of biding my time. My front wing got broken quite early on as well, so I had no speed to try and keep up with the front 4-3 at the front. I couldn't quite recall who was there. I knew you were up there, Mikey, with Reedy, but I didn't know who else was. I think Josh at some point. I know Cameron came back through.
At one point, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Josh had a good start, like,
yeah, it was.
We'll get on to.
Yeah. And it was just a case of just keeping the race pace up. I had Matty behind me, obviously Lana Griesby, who was fighting for the championship with, and it was just, I just thought to myself, I'm not going to pit, I'll keep going. Dark orange front wing, it's just about manageable. And yeah, I kept him behind. I wasn't quite sure where he was at points because he was lagging, unfortunately, but we didn't make any contact. It was a nice couple of side-by-sides into turn 3 at the hairpin, which was really good fun. Got a front wing change, caught up to Jordan, had a wonderful sort of, not dive bomb's the word I'm looking for, but a really late braking manoeuvre to get past Joshington, just to make sure. I was just like, right, this is my championship now. And yeah, I came home in 4th and sealed the championship, the drivers' championship. And obviously, you know, Jordan as well tagged along and took the championship for the teams as well. So I'm really chuffed. It was a relief. I was a bit nervous before qualifying because I didn't get much practice in. I'm really pleased. I think, you know, this season has been really good. I think some of the races I've had, I've been on it. Canada, Singapore, outside of Matty's disconnection, and a few other tracks as well where I've took the race win, has been really good, and my driving's improved. I think the raw pace comes and goes, and I think I need to work on my consistency if I want to take a title to defend it. I don't think I will. In terms of, in personal opinion, I think I'll get a race win or two, but that might be it. But, you know, my qualifying pace, if I can lead into turn 1, I should be okay from there. I don't think my defensive driving's any problems trying to defend from others. So yeah, I mean, I'm really chuffed. I'm really glad we secured the title, Jord.
Yeah.
Well,
relief when we crossed the line.
Simpletons, congratulations. But there is a favour, don't lock the cabinet because it's coming back to Simpleton HQ next season. So.
I don't think it's coming back.
Simpleton's HQ.
Who do you think engraved it? Yeah.
Not you. Cameron's just put commenting, by the way. By the way, just not to gloss over this, Envoy Extreme, who took pole, he did take pole, but he took the race win. He just said that he played it too safe in qualifying. He just played it too safe, and well, you know, you did, but you know, you still won, so I wouldn't be too fussed.
No, to be fair, it's obviously in the past I've raced with Cameron, and you know, obviously I that was like obviously a while back. We were about on the sort of the same thing, obviously on Project Cars from what I remember.
I didn't really realise how fast he was on, obviously, F1 until last week. I was like, because I thought I'd done alright. But it was nice to see one or two old faces, poke out the woodwork a little bit and rejoin us.
It was nice to have a double figures as well in the lobby, which is really positive, and we've got a really nice, like I said to Jordan in the post race chat last week. I was saying that everyone who, the 10 drivers we had tonight are, as far as I'm aware, coming back next season. So the grid's only going to get bigger. There's another 10 slots for people to jump in for season 20, which the league is coming back. Just to announce that, by the way, which is really good. But go on, Mikey, tell us about your race and how it went.
Well, I had a bit of a issue in quali. Obviously, on the softs, didn't go to plan. I was at the back. Don't know what happened with Carl. It's a bit of a shame, to be honest.
Internet.
Oh god. The bane of first world. Yeah. Literally off the grid. Lovely start. To be fair, off me, Jordan, and Matty. Good start off the three of us at the back of the pack. Went round. I'll give it a bit of space for. Well, obviously, I don't want to get too crossing, lose my front wing at the very beginning. Just turn the first corner. It literally looked like the M6. Yeah. I don't really like. Obviously, I imagine there's quite a few people who.
Reedy who caused it. He was fourth before he got to the corner, and then absolutely dived everyone and just held everything up.
Half, my mate Reedy is a professional driver, and he wouldn't do such a thing. I know that for a fact. Unless I see that with my own eyes. No, when I see it with my own eyes, I will sit there and go, okay, maybe.
You'll see it.
No, well, can I?
You can. It's on
to you. Well, I don't use Twitch.
It's not on YouTube in a bit.
Or whatever. But anyway, right, so I've gone around the first corner, and I thought, I'm going to dive up, see if we can get something and go from there. And yeah, took a lucky dive, got past Jord on the outside.
This could end up being in a horrible accident.
Oh yeah, but no, it was quite ballsy, I'm not going to lie. I was like, I can't believe I've just done that. He's like, have I just done that? He's like, how have you done that? He's like, it does my head in when you just out of nowhere, you just see you go, yeah, see you later. Like,
to be fair, it's probably lucky that I was the one that you were doing that to, because I actually anchored the brakes on harder than I wanted to, going into that hairpin. Because as you came across, you pretty much came around the outside and then suddenly dived across because you were going down the inside of another. I'm like, oh god, get on the brakes, and it kind of that really compromised me out of the corner, because obviously I've hit the brakes really hard, had to go in really tight, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as I've gone down there, and I thought, oh, probably like 6, because I didn't look at the board at the time. And obviously, I've just seen Joshington in front of me, and obviously, no offence to Joshington, he's obviously mid-pack sort of thing. So I'm thinking, well, alright, 2 or 3 places, first corner, happy days. I had to sort of squint, and I was like, is that like third? Oh crap. Obviously, it was more of just take it easy then. Good little battle with Joshington for a bit. I quite enjoyed that. Obviously, as always, pretty consistent all the way. I thought I had a really good drive. Obviously, I think I've probably got to agree with Jack. Obviously, Mike, I reckon, and this is not blowing smoke up my own hoop, I've actually improved quite a bit. I have this season, compared to my usual sort of fiascos, I've become quite reasonably competitive on the F1. Obviously, I wouldn't say so on like the BMs or anything like that. Yeah, I turn up, and by the time I've done 1 or 2 laps, they've gone home and everything. But no, I have enjoyed it this season. And to be fair, I do think I could challenges for it. I obviously had a few good tracks. To be fair, where I got a decent performance and good. I felt like I was obviously quite happy, but overall Austria pretty buzzing. 3-second penalty. Yeah. Oh well.
I'm going to be honest here before Jordan starts. I have to say, Mikey, like you mentioned, you have got better. Because last season, when we did that half season, it was just sort of like, yeah, this is Mikey. This is the Mikey we know. This is the Mikey that spins. This is the Mikey we know that flashes. But this season, I think, realistically, in the second half of the season, you've become the quicker driver of the two of you in the Simpletons. I think it's very fair to say that. And I think Matt Jordan will agree with me on this. I think the improvement we've seen has been really impressive. Will there be a race win next season? You don't know. I don't know.
Do you know what's annoying though? I've had 2 thirds, 2 seconds. It's just like I could have got you in Singapore had I changed to soft. But
no chance. No chance. Get in the sea.
I'm not walking down to the Irish Sea, mate. It's about a 3-mile walk.
What's this guy chatting? Come on.
Mate, it's Singapore. No, Singapore we had used everywhere.
Mikey,
had I not crashed,
was on pole by 2 seconds.
Yeah. And where were you halfway through the race, Jack?
In the lead.
Nowhere near. Yeah.
Okay.
And let's be fair, Matty didn't know you could rejoin.
Okay, but the point is he didn't.
Because he didn't know.
We can talk in ifs, buts and maybes, Mikey. But what I want to go back to is that had you have put in the same shift that you've done in the second half of the season, you'd have been right with me at Canada at the start. That's what I will say. Canada would have been very close between me and you, had you have been at the level you're at today, 10 weeks back.
I agree with you on that one, because Canada is one I really like. And to be fair, when me, you and Matty have done it, I've surprised both of you with pace around Canada. But I genuinely do think Monaco, I got lucky. I won't lie, I got lucky. I, without a doubt, got lucky. Singapore, I did really good on. I don't care what anyone says. Singapore, great. Now, Belgium, I got stuffy. I'll say that, and we'll leave it at that with Belgium. Obviously, but no, on serious note, Austria. Obviously, gutted for Reedy. I will not lie, I'm gutted. Because I was catching him a little bit, and obviously the top of the hill he spun, and obviously later on he's texted me and just said the wire come out of his pedals. He just couldn't believe it. But
I find that quite strange. I mean, it's really unfortunate he's gone round, but how would you, if your wires come out of your pedal, how's that caused him to spin? Because surely if your wire comes out, you can't press the...
Yeah,
just me, just spitballing, I might be wrong.
Yeah, but if you go up the hill where he was, to get that apex, it's like a close margin of success. At a dependence of speed. I think he's got it, because him and Cameron were having a battle, to be fair. And I think as he's come round, there's been like a little bit of contact or whatever. And obviously it's just happened at that exact moment, sort of thing, like you couldn't write it, sort of moment. But no, I'm chuffed for second. Obviously, at Simpletons, we're a bit good. We gave it a good shot, but obviously next season we're getting a bigger turbo put on, and just ride the wave.
And you'll be disqualified for turbo infringement.
Not if the rules have changed, mate.
Ah, true. Jordan, come on, mate. Tell us about Austria and your season. How you feel it went? Austria,
well, qualifying didn't quite go to plan. It wasn't far off where I kind of wanted to be. As you boys know, I tend to qualify on the mediums.
Sorry, Judd. I seen you qualified on the hards at
No, I was
first.
on mediums.
It come up on my screen that you won hards. I was thinking, why is he doing that? Like, it completely baffled me. I was like, eh?
No, qualified on the mediums, and I split U2 in the alphas, which I was pleased with. I was like, yeah, that's for championship purposes, that's quite nice. But I didn't quite get turn 1 right, and I completely messed up turn 6, massively. So I could have gone quicker, which was a bit of a shame. But yeah, as we all know, got off the line. Kind of took it a little bit easy on the way into turn 1, which I was quite pleased with the outcome of that, because I managed to get up the order. And obviously Mike done his best Mad Max impression into turn 3.
No, I'd say that was Tokyo Drift, mate.
No, because you weren't drifting at all.
Well, I drifted past you, didn't I? At a high speed.
I didn't see anything wrong with that, actually, because I've just watched that from your stream, George.
No, there wasn't anything wrong. It was just, it was very, very close, very close. And it. No, it wasn't. It was tighter than it is. I think it's tighter than it looks, to be honest. But just because of that, because I've ended up shuffling across a little bit, I've just ended up on completely the wrong any line at all for turn 3, which has properly compromised me. And then I ended up stuck behind Mad Ginge for about 3 laps, which Jack would tell you I was getting annoyed with.
Good lad, Ginge.
Really funny.
Because
I felt for you, like, because you know, imagine he didn't finish last in the end of this race, but he's not the most confident in terms of mid-corner speed.
No.
George just couldn't get past him. I mean, I literally just watched my move on him for 5th place when I had the broken front wing. It's just like, the only way you're going to get past him is if it's a late one. It's what TeamDiveBomb.com is all about.
But and it was a bit of a shame, really, because I think had I got past him immediately, I think I genuinely had pace to keep up with you, Mikey. And it's not one of these, I think I had pace just to be annoying. I think I genuinely had good pace. Which is a big shame.
Well, at the end, like, literally, at one point, you were close-ish. I think you closest, you were like 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then near the end, you was like 13, 14 seconds behind me.
But I think I was about 6. I think I ended up about 5 behind you after, like, lap 1. Because you kind of like
you
just
were on the mediums, though.
I was on the mediums for starters, yeah, which didn't help. But then also, I think being by Mad Ginge got a chunk of chime.
Obviously, you were catching me by half a second a lap in the last 3 laps, to be fair.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, because I think I would have kept up with you. Whether I'd have beaten you or not, who knows?
Yeah. How much is, what's the length of a piece of string? It's
Exactly.
that sort of,
Exactly.
fiasco.
But no, to come home 5th, obviously, I kind of gifted by making a few three unfortunate little corner cuts through turn 1. So I kind of gifted Jack 4th a little bit, but no, 3rd in the championship. I'm happy with that. And to be honest, I don't think I've actually improved it all season long. To be honest, I don't think.
Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'd love to see the driver development at Team Dive Bomb. From the sounds of it, you've got one sim, one more sim than Simpletons, because we can't fit that in our budget. But yeah.
No, my issue at the moment is I play too many games. I play far too many games, and I don't play one enough. So I literally the only time I play F1 at the moment is literally for the leagues. I pretty much every other day I'm on a different game. I'm playing F1, GT Sport, Assetto Corsa at the moment. The rally.
Would you like me to give you some advice, Jordan? No, I love giving free advice, mate. No, I insist. I'll give you a bit of free advice, mate. just don't play as many games.
Oh no, I enjoy what I do. At the end of the day, it's only for a bit of fun, and I think next season, if I'm completely honest, I think it's going to be either to definitely win that title because I know Reedy's doing a season with Alex. Alex stopped spinning. Two Mercedes are going to be a very tough act to beat.
Well, there's choice words that we won't repeat. It's a lovely friendship between the two. Very camaraderie. It's a strong thing in our little team. I think it's fair enough to say. But no. Yeah, it'll be fun. I suppose we can all agree to see what we do in the off season, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Might inscribe someone else's name on that little trophy.
You might do. I'm, certainly not going to say that's not going to happen because let's be honest, anything can happen next season. I'll say this much, there are, a few tweaks to the format in season 20. Which I know about. Can't announce anything yet because it's not been finalised, but we were having a chat with Alex today about it, so should be pretty much good to go soon. But I'll announce that at a later date. But I mean, in terms of the leagues, we are in the last knock-ins, gents. Next week we'll be able to give a final championship standings on all of the leagues. In terms of what's going to be the plan in the off-season with the Racer Winners events for GT Sport, Seto Corsa, and a couple other matters as well in terms of what leagues will be upcoming next season. What I will say is tomorrow there will be an announcement on the NXTGEN Facebook page about the start of season 20, when the date it will be. Some of us will already know at the moment when that is, but I will tell you this much: it will start in March, but I'm not going to say when. I did say before I was going to, but I just decided no, you can wait till tomorrow. But what I will say though...
Wow, such a bully. You couldn't give the people what they want to know.
No.
God, such a dictator.
What I will say though is that it's looking very likely that next season we will have leagues every day of the week, and if those are a little bit wise to it will know that we don't have leagues on a Saturday, so there may be an opportunity there, but again, I cannot confirm anything because there's still some sponsorship deals and prizes to be worked out, one of which I've seen which looks incredible, but we can't say, can we, Jord?
No.
We genuinely can't. We can't even after this tell Mikey. It's legitimately top secret.
Come on!
It's legitimately top secret.
Adopted member?
Well, I mean, you're certainly one of those words. I'll let you choose which one.
Wow.
You remember?
15 years, Jack. 15 years. And this is what I get.
Yeah.
No, if that's the case, obviously, dependent on that, I think we can all agree. Probably might have to look at what the fiasco would be with this lovely concept that we have produced.
It's not a fiasco, it's a wonderful prize.
I'm not talking about the prize, I'm talking about the events. We will have to fit ourselves probably on another date.
All I will say is that there will be some potential classic league returning, which we haven't seen since season 12 off the top of my head. There will be potentially less leagues, less season, but more spread out so that every league gets the chance to just have a little bit more shine to it, so everyone knows what's going on each day at NXTGEN. F1 rather will be coming to Tuesdays. F1, it's Tuesday, that's when it'll be.
Is this the new edition of the F1 podcast?
Yeah, the F1 League, the Turbs Tuesday podcast. And what I can say is, in terms of the leagues that are returning, F1 on a Tuesday, GT3 on a Wednesday, Seto Corsa, the Thursday McGann Leagues, and the M4 Fast R League on a Sunday, as well as Race Room on a Monday that is hosted by Lee Horn. You'll get full details of that tomorrow in the post. I'll say it in the post. I mean, on the post on Next Gen. It'll be in the
Am I
announcement.
expecting Royal Mail when I come home?
Yeah, you get
Like a nice
maybe
little
Yodel.
parcel. Oh, don't,
But
no, not Hermes or Yodel. Jesus, I won't get it.
But what I will say is when this post goes out tomorrow morning, you'll be able to look it. It'll be in the announcements section within NextGen, and that list will get updated. So it's not final just yet, but we want to get a little bit of information out for everyone so that they can have a read of that. And yeah, it's going to be wicked. I'm looking forward to season 20. Some of the plans and prizes that we've got organised look pretty good. I can't wait to see the 2 Focus Cup drivers as well. Obviously of Hirakram and the previous race winner, who name escapes me at the moment. They will get their chance to drive in the Focus Cup car later on, hopefully this year, providing
Obviously
COVID
COVID,
permit,
yeah.
of course. But I mean, that's it for tonight's podcast, gentlemen. Wonderful to be part of it. 12 episodes down. Obviously next week, lucky number 13, which would be really good. I know on the schedule, Jordan, I'm going to be introducing that, so that'll be really awesome to do. But nevertheless, it's bye from Mikey.
Goodbye.
Bye from Jordan.
Goodbye.
And that's bye from me. Be in a big wide world. Have a good one. See you next week.